Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Now remember just a couple weeks ago we covered the Donald Trump deposition video, where he pled the fifth I think over 400 times, and the mainstream media called Donald Trump a hypocrite because of this specific quote.
President Trump, for the first time, the video of the former president under oath in the case against his business here in New York. Trump, a longtime critic of those who take the fifth, pleading the fifth more than 400 times.
Well, of course, the point that I made in that video is that Donald Trump is certainly no hypocrite, and there is no other option than for him to plead the fifth. There is no other option but for him to not feed into these fishing expeditions, because that's exactly what they are. They're fishing for crimes, trying to illegitimately indict him in an effort to stop him from ever running for president again. Well, that statement I think stands pretty strong on its own. I think there's enough evidence. But in a certain way, can you really ever have enough evidence to defend yourself? Probably not, and so we're adding to the list. If you thought the Trump witch hunt was over, of course not. The Robert Mueller investigation failed. The impeachment into the Ukraine phone call failed. The impeachment following the January 6th protest failed. The January 6th Select Committee failed. The New York City Letitia James witch hunt failed. And so the Democrats are banking on the DOJ's special counsel into the Mar-a-Lago classified document situation, and of course the Georgia investigation into the Donald Trump phone call. And man, what's going on in Georgia has to be the biggest joke of all of them. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean by that. Let me show you guys why Donald Trump is absolutely justified in his frustration and in pleading the fifth. We've got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, I'm sure you guys are already aware of what's going on here, and if you're not, you definitely won't be surprised. We got this piece from the New York Times. Grand jury in Georgia Trump inquiry recommended multiple indictments. Forewoman says she would not discuss specific indictments in the special grand jury's report, but noted that its recommendations were not going to be some giant plot twist. And boy, oh boy, the media is just eating this one up. It's a Rob Reiner wet dream, but it's also one of the dumbest, most ridiculous things I think I've ever seen air on TV.
Today in Georgia, NBC's Blaine Alexander conducted what is simply the single most important interview ever conducted about a criminal investigation of Donald Trump. We have occasionally seen interviews with jurors after they have returned verdicts in criminal trials. Juror interviews are not common. Most members of juries in most trials never speak to the press. I have never seen an interview with a member of a grand jury before that grand jury's work has been made public. In fact, even after a grand jury's work has been made public, I don't ever recall seeing a grand jury member in a television interview. Today, 30-year-old Emily Kors, the foreperson of the Fulton County Grand Jury in Georgia that has been investigating possible election crimes possibly committed by Donald Trump and his associates, began her day doing a short interview with the Associated Press.
Did you personally want to hear from the former president?
I wanted to hear from the former president, but honestly, I kind of wanted to subpoena the former president because I got to swear everybody in. And so I thought it'd be really cool to get 60 seconds with President Trump of me looking at him and being like, do you solemnly swear? And me getting to swear him in. I kind of just thought that would be an awesome moment.
The current state of the media is just so abysmal. Real trusted mainstream sources of news that seem to have a dog in the fight. You know, you could really count on them to be a neutral source of information. The way they get all giddy and excited when they get news that the evil orange man is going to continue to get prosecuted. Or rather, persecuted is the better term. It's amazing. It's historic. I've never seen anything like it before. Wow. One of the greatest moments in news history. What a freaking clown. And what he's referring to is like a 20-something-year-old woman who's supposedly part of the grand jury doing a media tour, again all giddy and excited at the chance that she's gonna swear in Donald Trump, at the chance of getting 60 seconds with him. Does this strike you as serious, or does this strike you as just yet again a continuation of the never-ending political persecution and legal persecution of Donald Trump? It's the exact same kind of vibe from Letitia James.
Will you sue him for us?
Oh, we're going to definitely sue him. We're going to be a real pain in the ass.
So I thought it'd be really cool to get 60 seconds with President Trump.
You know, the United States is supposed to be the leader of the free world, the most serious country on the world stage. But does this seem serious to you, or is it just one big friggin' joke? To me, it seems like one big friggin' joke. These partisan deep state clowns are making a mockery of the United States legal system. Of course, the question is, will the Georgia prosecutor end up taking the case and pursuing these charges and indictments against Donald Trump and his team? And considering who's pulling the strings at the top and just how partisan things are and how Democrats seem to just fall in line with whatever the goal is, and of course the goal is to take down the evil orange man, is there really any question whether Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis, with a D next to her name, is going to take the case? I have a feeling she probably will. I mean, why would they put this in front of a grand jury if they had no intention of actually pursuing charges? This pathetic witch hunt continues. The whole thing's a mockery, and you know it's one big fat joke when even CNN's Anderson Cooper is able to admit it. CNN host Anderson Cooper and legal analyst Ellie Honig raised concerns on Tuesday about a spate of media appearances by the foreperson of the grand jury that investigated former President Donald Trump's attempt to overturn the 2020 presidential election in Georgia. Anderson Cooper said, "Why is this person talking on TV? I don't understand. She's clearly enjoying herself. Is this responsible? She was the foreperson of the grand jury. Of course it's not responsible. And why is she talking on TV? Because you MSNBC CNN freaks have been hunting for your next Michael Avenatti for the past however many years. It's all about the ratings, and of course you know that your Rob Reiner, Blue Anon, I'm with her Twitter audience is a ravenous, bloodthirsty anti-Trump mob that eats this stuff up. And so you'll feed what your audience wants, regardless of how ridiculous it makes you look. And man, this time it's a real bad look. Like Michael Avenatti, that was pretty bad. This, I'd say, is one of the most embarrassing moments in cable news history. I mean, there's been some embarrassing moments, but the way that MSNBC clown from earlier was praising this forewoman's appearance and claiming that it was one of the biggest moments in news history. I mean, that was one of the cringiest, most pathetic segments I think I've ever viewed. The Blue Anon crowd, of course, is eating all this stuff up and celebrating on Twitter. Oh, we got him this time. But do you really? Not exactly sure. I'm pretty sure it's going to end up just like it always does. A big fat nothing burger. We have a former prosecutor calling the Georgia grand jury investigation into Donald Trump, quote, political persecution. Von Spakovsky said nobody should give any credibility to the investigation into whether or not Donald Trump attempted to disrupt the 2020 election. No one should give any credibility to the findings of this grand jury. Von Spakovsky, a former member of the Federal Election Commission, the FEC, who also served on the Fulton County Board of Elections, told Fox News. I say that because the DA, Fani Willis, has made it very clear that she is not only politically ambitious, but that she is unethical, he added. There's no credible legal basis for her to be investigating this case, and she has shown that this is really a political persecution, or political prosecution, and it's a matter of self-aggrandizement. I mean, all you have to do is look at some of the witnesses that she subpoenaed to come to her grand jury. Yep, yeah, we already saw it with this Emily Kors individual, the forewoman doing her media tour. It's more political theater, a kangaroo court. The idea that Donald Trump did anything illegal in his Georgia phone call, or really through any of his actions following the election, is simply delusional. It's leftist copium. Questioning the process is not illegal. Hillary Clinton and Stacey Abrams are still doing the exact same thing following their election losses. In fact, there's a legitimate legal process to questioning and challenging the results. And now we have someone from the FEC, Von Spakovsky, essentially confirming that that's the case, that there's no legal basis to be prosecuting Donald Trump. And even CNN knows it, the infamous Van Jones clip from back in October 2020, where he essentially outlined a legal path that any candidate can take to challenge electors. It happened in the Al Gore election, it happened in the Hillary Clinton election in 2016, and it also happened in 2020 with Donald Trump and Republicans trying to challenge electors. But don't you find it interesting that we're only seeing these legal actions, these grand juries and investigations, when a Republican does it? Rules for thee, but not for me. Democrats, challenge all you want. You can even pay foreign spies and foreign agents, like Christopher Steele and the others, to fabricate false evidence and then present that to a FISA court, get an illegal warrant to spy on then candidate Trump and then President Trump in an attempt to launch a rogue shadow deep state coup to unseat him as president. You could do all of that as a Democrat, but as a Republican, try to challenge the certification and they'll try to put you in prison. No one is buying this crap. But don't get too excited there, little Rob Reiner. It's yet again another nothing burger political witch hunt. That's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.